I'm going to explain to you how to harvest grain and get it to a point where you can actually bake with it the whole way through. I'm going to guide you step by step. It's very easy. A 5-year-old could do it. There is a little bit of trial and error. There's some physical activity, but almost anyone could do this. It's a nice workout. It's a nice stress relief. So first, obviously, you want to cut the grain. You do not need a scythe, although a scythe is really nice. It's really fun thing to swing. We use the scythe, but they're not very available at a hardware store. You can even use a sturdy set of clippers, as we can show you in this other picture, if you don't have a scythe. If not, I've heard that you can even use a weed whacker to cut the grain. You want to wait till the whole grain is pretty much either like a golden brown color and the head of the grain is starting to droop over, and you want the kernels of the grain to be dry. If you take the kernels out of the head of the grain and chew on it and it's dry, you know it's ready to harvest. After you cut the grain, you can tie it in bundles called sheaves, and if you aren't ready to thresh yet, you can stack the bundles in a thing called a shock, or you can just store them in a dry place. But if you are ready to thresh, you can go ahead and forget about that. So after cutting the grain, you're basically ready to thresh, which involves separating the grain itself from most of the rest of the plant, including the stalk. Okay, I chose a very primitive method of threshing. Okay, there's more advanced methods of threshing, and you can make fun of my method of threshing. I put the sheaves in a pillowcase and I beat them off of a wheelbarrow. Basically, you need to whack the heads of the grain hard enough to separate most of the grain from the rest of the plant. Okay, there's a more advanced method of hand threshing where you use bed sheets and you hit them with this tool that kind of looks like nunchucks, and you can even use bed sheets and hit it with like the shaft of a shovel or something like that. Basically, you want to give it a good whack, and what that does is it removes the grain itself from the rest of the plant, although there's still this thing called chaff that's on the grain, and that's where the winnowing comes in. So when you winnow, it's a very, very different process from threshing. You just want to drop the grain in front of a fan, or even if you have a strong enough wind, you can just drop the grain, from a gust of wind, and it'll blow away the chaff. And then you want to repeat this process probably 2 to 3 times to get most of the chaff off. You might, still have some chaff on the heads of the on the kernels after that, but it's okay. You can work with it after that. So you're basically, at this point, you're ready to mill the grain. If you're looking to bake bread, all you really got to do after this is grind it up for what they consider milling. But a powerful blender is good enough to grind up the grain, and you can sift it and get it to a point where you can actually bake with it.